Holidays right around the corner. It's that time of year when it can get overwhelming with all the snacks and sweets and food everywhere.
It is everywhere, but one woman wants to alleviate that stress by showing you just how easy it can be to have healthier options around and affordable as well. So Brianna, you spoke with this woman.
Yes, the founder of the program. So her name is Arielle Kestenbaum, and she started Fair Meals at the start of the pandemic. It's a way to help families who really relied on school systems to help provide meals for their kids. So they came up with this platform that's focused on healthy, easy, and affordable nutrition. And now 2 years later, this is a resource for everyone for balanced eating. So she's shared some of her tips with me on how we can eat a little bit healthier around this time of year.
My holiday tips are really that I think when we go into like the holidays and we see these large spreads and large buffets of tons and tons of food, it can become overwhelming, and just like every other situation or overwhelming situation, I think it's important to kind of focus one by one on the smaller picture. So we want to focus on making sure we're getting lean proteins or really any protein, but if the lean protein is a choice, focusing on lean proteins, making sure we are getting, vegetables and fruits and different fiber, too many cakes and cookies, and, cornbread and, sweet potato pies, right? Because obviously we can have some of that and we should have some of that, but we want to make sure that most of our plate has these good nutrients. And then we can have, we can definitely and we should definitely indulge on these indulgences. I'm going to repeat that word again, but we should and we can, and we shouldn't deprive ourselves. But I think it's just important to make sure we are getting the proper nutrients, and then those should be benefits. Those should be on the side.
Have seconds if you're still hungry.
100%. I think it's important to fill up our plate, but we don't have to go into this mentality of like, I'm still hungry, but I had enough and that's it. If you are still hungry, it's important to understand and to listen to our hunger cues. If you are still hungry, we should definitely go back for seconds. And maybe that's when we should really focus on, getting those nutrients, getting the proper protein, the proper fiber, because that is actually what's going to fill us properly.
So yeah, you can have seconds. You just have to make the good choice when you have the seconds.
What about thirds and fourths?
Yeah.
I think it's okay. She said, listen to the hunger cues. If you're still hungry, you can still eat. You just make a good choice. Also during our chat, she showed me how to make a really cool meal. It checks all of those boxes and it's super versatile.
It's super, super easy. We're all about ease here at Fair Meals. You can really use any types of beans that you want, but I like to use cannellini beans, so we have some white cannellini beans here. I also like to use kidney beans. I think also like the color, the red, like the deep red color is so festive for this time of year. So it's just a really good thing to use and to make things a little bit more festive. And then chickpeas. I like chickpeas also because that actually has a ton of protein in there. So we're getting our fiber also from the chickpeas and from the other beans, but chickpeas also do have protein. So we're kind of getting like a full balance here. So I'm going to mix up those beans together. And we want to make sure that we're also rinsing our beans off from the can, because we want to take off any excess sodium, because obviously sodium will, not be so helpful in terms of preventing heart disease. So we want to make sure that we are taking off any excess sodium. A little bit of sodium is fine, but rinsing them will definitely take off anything that's in there that we don't want. The other thing is I like to add celery. You can add red onion, you can add red onion and celery. You can add some herbs to this. I just like to add a little bit of celery, and that's it. My family doesn't love raw red onion, so I try really not to use it. But it's definitely does give it a nice, color and texture and flavor. So that's really it. Those are all the ingredients that go in. And now for our little dressing, we have a little bit of apple cider vinegar. You can really use any type of vinegar that you want. I just love the taste of apple cider vinegar. I think it gives it a little bit of a deeper flavor. And I just love the smell of it and the taste and everything. It goes really nicely also with the beans. We use a little bit of olive oil to kind of, it kind of like balance out the vinegar, right? So it's not too strong. We have some garlic powder. I wouldn't use too much garlic powder, but definitely some salt, and some pepper to kind of bring all the flavors together. And that is the whole thing. That is it. It smells so delicious. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the apple cider vinegar. And that's really it.
So if you're interested in learning more about her in the program, Fair Meals is hosting a free online webinar tonight at 7 p.m. You can register at fairmeals.org. One other tip that she has is to eat breakfast, and I mean we do that on the show when we have the time to eat. She says it can help kickstart your metabolism, which you should still try to practice on the holidays, because we all have this mindset of like, oh, I'm not going to eat because I know I'm going to eat so much later. She says that's actually a bad idea, and if you get your nutrient-filled breakfast, it can actually help keep you kind of full on those days so you don't go too crazy.
Yeah, so I go with 6 full meals.
Yeah,
6 full meals.
Maybe not that.
Nice and filled up.
Maybe a little breakfast so that you don't stuff yourself for Thanksgiving.